Hey everybody, today I'm going to be doing perhaps one of the most famous harmonica riffs of all time. This is the riff from the Beatles' Love Me Do, and I'm going to be doing both the main riff as well as the solo. The main riff isn't really too crazy. The solo's got some difficult parts in it that we'll talk about in a minute. I'm using my favorite brand, Lee Oscar. This is a C harmonica, but this tune is actually in G. You still want to use the C harmonica because this is an example of what's called cross harp playing, which basically means whatever the key of the harmonica is in, you go up 5 from that. So if this is C, C, D, E, F, G, that's the 5th scale degree, and that's the key that you play cross harp in. And actually the Lee Oscars actually have the 2nd position already written down for you. You don't even have to memorize it. Basically, what this really means is you're playing in the Mixolydian mode of whatever the relative major scale is. Not to get too into theory or anything like that, but the nice thing about C major is it's all natural notes. So on a keyboard, this is the C major scale, which is also the Ionian mode. Right? But if I start on D and play to D, here that's kind of a different sounding scale. Same notes. It's got kind of a minor tonality. Well, G Mixolydian is the same exact scale if you go from G to G. Here how it almost sounded like a major scale, except for that 7th degree. Instead of do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, ti, do, it was do, re, mi, fa, sol, la, te, do. So it's a half step lower, but it's just all the natural notes from G to G. That's all it is. Sounds complicated, G Mixolydian, but Mixolydian is just the 5th mode of whatever your relative major or Ionian mode is. You know, it's the same thing as like Superman is also Kal-El, right? That's his given Kryptonian name, but he's also Superman. Well, the Ionian mode is also the major scale. And the Aeolian mode is also the minor scale, but there's all these other ones that haven't gotten their own special name. But yeah, if you're playing cross harp, you're basically playing in whatever the relative Mixolydian mode is, which means whatever do is, you just count up 5. So if you're in A major, A, B, C, D, E, Mixolydian, it's not always going to be the same. For example, if you're in B major, B, C, D, E, F, right? Except it's not, it's F sharp. Because it's not just about what letter name you're on, it's also about the relationship, the amount of whole steps and half steps between the two. But, you know, that's getting further along, and I've already gone way longer into this than I thought I would. But anyway, yeah, you're using a C harmonica, which is also in the cross harp key would be G. And that's the key that this song is in, it's in G. All right, and I'm going to start by just playing the riff. It's in the tablature's in the description, and it's going to start on the draw of 5. That last little bump, that's actually kind of something cool you might want to hang on to in addition to this riff, because that's kind of like one of those really quintessential blues riffs. It's basically you blow into 3 and you go blow 3, blow 4, and back to 3 again. So it's 3, 4, 3. And then you draw on 3, and you can kind of bend it a little bit, draw 3, and then draw 2. So you those last 2 notes were draw notes on 3 and 2. Because draw 2 is the exact same note as blow 3. That's draw 2, that's blow 3. So you got both of those are G's, so that's why it's easier to just, I mean, you could go 3, 4, 3, draw 3, and blow on 3. You could do that, but I think it's just easier to kind of just, you know, if you're already drawing on 3, to just slide it down 1. I woke up this morning, and then I went back to sleep. Then I woke up again 5 minutes later to the sound of my alarm clock's beep, and I was late. You know, anyway, if you're gonna wail on. But anyway, yeah, that's at the very tail end of the Love Me Do riff. Not really exactly. It doesn't have that one note in the middle there, but it's ba ba bum instead of ba 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 bum. Now, the solo. I'll play it first. going to try that again a little bit later, but it's challenging because there's lots of bending going on. You have to actually start bending on the 3 hole. Hey, I actually got it that time. But you don't want to bend into it. It's kind of a pre-bend, which means you have to have your mouth already, your tongue has to already be in position before you draw. And on guitar, this is what happens when you instead of playing a note and then bending into it, you start with the string already bent exactly to how high you want it to be pitch-wise, and then you lower it down. Well, that's what you're doing here, except you're bending down instead of up, because that's what happens on harmonicas, and you bend down on the draw notes that you can bend into instead of up. Hey! So on 3, that's not the note you get if you draw on 3. If you draw on 3, that's what you get. But I'm having to bend down. And you have to have your tongue kind of in the position, like if it was going to say K. So if you think about your tongue is kind of doing this, it's kind of up in the back. That's kind of where your tongue has to already be before you start drawing. And you hear I'm not perfect at that because I'm not a professional. I'm still kind of sort of like learning this instrument as much as I can. So yeah. And then on 2, hey, I got it that time too. You're doing the same thing. You're drawing, but you're bending that note. But the 2 hole has 2 notes you can bend into. And I can't really tell you how to do this. No. Monkey see, monkey do over here. You like making music too, don't you? You want to make music with Daddy. Uh-oh. Oh yeah, the mouthpiece came off. Yeah, there you go. So, and you have to actually bend into both of those notes for this. Oh. So you hear I went, and then that's just the regular draw 2. And then I had to bend a half step lower. Here's something I would recommend doing to practice this. Start drawing on 2. In fact, Andrew, can I see that for a second? Because the note that you're going to get when you draw on 2... What?
I got that for you, Daddy.
Oh, thank you, Andrew. Yeah, the note that you're going to get when you draw on 2 is a G. Hang on. If you bend, if you bend that down, you get an F sharp. And if you bend even further, you get an F natural. So that's what you're going to try to do on this draw 2. You're going to go. I'm going to get less breath there. Yeah, but you hear I'm not great at it. I'm practicing this too, but you hear I'm kind of going. That's what you have to do to practice, because your tongue is still kind of doing what you do for K, but to get that F natural, I can't really tell you what to do because everybody's mouth is different. You want to play around with the positioning of your tongue and also how hard you're drawing the air in, because really on a harmonica, one of the things that people get wrong, and I got this wrong too, is you think that it's all about blowing and sucking. It's not. It's breathing. That's how you play the harmonica. You breathe out and you breathe in. When you blow and when you suck, that's when you start to get, if you're in the higher register, you'll get what's called overblown notes, which can kind of bend a little bit too. Like, I can't do it really that well, but you hear that wavering there? That's the difference between me blowing and breathing. But if I'm sucking on 2, see, I got a bent note that time. If I just breathe in, I'm trying to move my eyebrows so you can see. If you can't hear it as well, you're trying to show you how it's, G, F sharp, F natural, F sharp, G, da, da, da. So the whole riff, solo rather. Anyway, if I was playing this in my car, it'd be perfect. It's because I'm trying to shoot a video that I'm messing up so much. But hopefully you get the idea. You want to pre-bend on 3. and then blow on 3, and then that F sharp on 2, but then you're just gonna suck in on 2, and then bend down a whole step. Hey, I did it. Ah. Anyway, the main riff is fun. It's not too challenging. There's no bending involved, and you get to do a lot of that vibrato. You can also draw in not just on 5, but 4 too. You know, and have fun with it. You can be sloppy. It's the blues. You know, when you're playing blues harp, you can't do too much vibrato. You can't have too much like grit. That's all just feeling. That's the essence of it. Even though this isn't a blues song, it's a rock song, but definitely very blues influenced. And like, I'm not a professional harmonica player. I'm no Little Walter. I'm no Lee Oscar. I'm not somebody you want to look to as an authority on this. That's one of the reasons why I do these videos, because sometimes I think it can be helpful learning from someone who's still learning himself, so that you don't like feel like you're in the presence of somebody who's talking down to you or anything. Not that, you know, professional teachers do that, but it can be intimidating. I've been there. I've taken lessons from people that were way better than me, and it's kind of like, oh my gosh, even though you're being super nice and cool, I kind of feel like, you know, intimidated just being around you, and it's kind of hard to learn when you're like that. So anyway, if you have any questions or any challenges, things you want to talk about, feel free to leave a comment. Thank you to Andrew for providing our 20th century inspired soundtrack, very serialist, very Messian, aleatoric, John Cagey. Anyway, thanks again, and keep playing harmonica.